Hey friends, it's Jenna. Welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to do a video about Poshmark sharing. Specifically, the fastest way to share on Poshmark, but also just touch on what sharing is and what the purpose is and just what it does for you and your business. And I have previously done a video on sharing, and I'll go ahead and link it down in the description box below. A lot of the stuff that I talk about still remains true, but I think I have finally figured out what's the fastest way for me to share, and I wanted to let you guys know, what my secret is. It's not really a secret. I didn't invent this. I'm sure I'm not the only one that shares this way, but let's get into the video. So before I get into my current sharing method, I want to talk a little bit about what sharing is. This could be helpful if you're new to Poshmark, if you're coming from another platform, even if you've been on Poshmark for a little while, maybe just good to have a refresher, because I know we hear the word sharing all the time, but what can sharing do for you? And it actually can do a lot. I think it's kind of a genius thing that Poshmark came up with, and even though it seems a little bit tedious, I definitely think it's worth it. So sharing, when you're sharing items, you can either be sharing your own listing or you can be sharing another user's listing. And basically when you share an item, it goes into the Poshmark feed. So with self-sharing, a bunch of different things can happen. The first thing, when you share your own listing, it goes to the feed of all the people that are following you. Now, you might think, oh my gosh, is this item gonna spam these people? If I keep self-sharing my item, are they just gonna see it over and over? The answer is no, because the feed moves pretty quickly, and the point of self-sharing to your feed, to your followers, is the hopes that someone else is then going to share your item to their followers. So that's going to increase the exposure of eyes and potential buyers that can see the item that you're selling. So self-sharing your items is really important. The other thing, when you self-share your item, it does this little thing at the top of your listing where it says updated X amount of hours ago, days ago, basically the last time you share your item, it updates that at the top of your listing. I like to keep this pretty fresh within hours. I don't like to go days without self-sharing, because this just lets the buyer know when they're looking at your listing and they see, oh, she updated this hours ago, she's really active on the app, she's going to be responsive, she's obviously looking to sell it. Because I know if I look at a listing that says updated, July 12th, and it's already January of the next year, that person's probably not on the app. I don't know if they even know they're still selling on Poshmark or if they have an item listed. So the chance of you potentially getting to buy that item, I don't know, it just goes down in my opinion. So, staying on it and keeping your items updated is really important. The most important thing about self-sharing items to me is the fact that it boosts you in search results. So when you share your item, it moves it to the top of that brand search results. So say you sell or share a Lululemon tank top and someone searches Lululemon tank top. Immediately the just shared results come up, and if they don't do any kind of specific filters and you just shared your item, your tank top's going to be at the very top. Now, even though someone else might share some items on top of yours, you're still going to be closer to the top of the feed than if you were to have not shared your item for a couple days. The longer you go without sharing your item, the further it is down in the feed of search results. So for me, I like to think of it as a free promoted listing. So to all my eBay sellers out there that are watching or come from that platform, you have to pay for promoted listings on eBay, and basically that means you're going to show up higher in search results. But on Poshmark, you just get to share your item. It's totally free as many times as you want, and every time you share it, it goes to the top of that search result. So it's really awesome, and I do think sharing is really, really important. The one question that I hear all the time at pretty much any Posh event that I go to, that there are Poshmark employees or team members there, is there ever going to be a way to share your entire Poshmark closet with one click of the button? And the answer that I always hear, and more specifically heard from Manish at the last Posh Fest in Dallas, is no. Currently, and not for the foreseeable future, are you ever going to be able to share your entire closet with the push of one button. And his reasoning behind this really makes sense. and it's really in order to even the playing field. So obviously there are people out there that have, you know, hundreds of listings. I have 700. I know there's people out there that have thousands of listings, and then there's people out there that are just starting out that might have 5 or 10 listings. And if you were just to click one button and share your closet, the entire closet at once, then obviously the person that has the most listings or has a huge closet is going to dominate the search results, because chances are they have a lot of those items and they're going to be just shown in the results over and over and over, and then that person that just has, you know, a couple listings is going to be pushed down to the bottom. So I really like the fact that sharing items individually is going to just even the playing field, make it fair for everyone, and not make it so the big fish can outweigh the smaller fish in the sea. And I just think that's really awesome, especially because Poshmark caters to so many different types of sellers. You know, whether you're a hobby seller, a part-time seller, a full-time seller, you know, whatever it may be, they want to make it fair. So while it does kind of stink, because if you do have a lot of listings, it can take a while to share them all, I just think it's nice that it makes it fair for everyone. So with all of that being said about sharing, you can kind of understand why sharing is pretty important, especially self-sharing. And I want to talk about what I have figured out to be the fastest way for me to share my Poshmark closet, because like I mentioned before, I have over 700 active listings. I think I have 716 as of this morning, and it can take me a while to go through and click the share button 716 times. So when I first started out on Poshmark, I was sharing just from my phone through the app, and it was definitely taking a while. I had heard about this craze, edit next list, where basically when you go in your listing, you hit edit in the top corner, next, and then list, and people were saying that was the fastest. I did that for a while. I kind of figured out that wasn't really going that fast for me, and I started sharing from my computer with a mouse, which does work. It is pretty quick. The last video I made about sharing, I'm pretty sure that is how I was telling you guys I was sharing, because it was. But I don't know, within the last 6 months or so, I have started sharing a new way, and that is on an iPad. So I have figured out an iPad with a stylus is the fastest way for me to share. I guess it doesn't necessarily have to be an iPad. It could be any tablet, but I'm an Apple girl, so I have the iPad, and I actually have my iPad here with me. So I have my iPad here with me, and I have the iPad Pro. Now this is an older version. I've had this for about 3 years, so the new one doesn't really look like this. I don't think it has the home button. And then I also have the Apple Pencil, which is the stylus that I use. And the thing about sharing from an iPad or a tablet, the trick is to share from a web browser. So what I do is I just open up my web browser, I go to Poshmark.com, open up my closet, and then I scroll all the way to the bottom of available listings, and I start sharing my entire closet from the web browser. Because what I have found is sharing in the app, there is a little bit of a lag, and when you share in the web browser, it just goes a lot faster, a lot smoother. And for me, using a stylus or the Apple Pencil, it's just super quick. It's less movements like with my hand, so I think hopefully it's better for my joints, because you know, we got to take care of ourselves. But I have just found that to be a really quick and simple process, and I have shared this over on my Instagram stories, and people have tried this and seem to love it, so I definitely wanted to share it with you guys. And the other thing about sharing through the web browser is if you accidentally click on a listing, or you know, click on your username and it takes you to a different page, when you click back, it takes you to the exact spot that you are sharing in on that page, which is huge. Because if you guys have been sharing for a while on Poshmark, you might know that if you're sharing through the app and you accidentally click on something else in your closet besides the share button, and it takes you to another page and you go back, it brings you to the very top of your closet, which is really annoying because you lose your place when you're sharing, and then you have to scroll down and kind of, you know, it just takes up more time. And yeah, it's really frustrating sometimes, especially if you do it multiple times. So when you accidentally accidentally hit something in the iPad, it's just so nice because you can go back to exactly where you were. So again, my fastest sharing tip is to use an iPad or a tablet and use a stylus and share through the web browser. Now, the second fastest way still to share, in my opinion, is on the computer with a mouse through the web browser again. But yeah, I just found that to be the most efficient. And just for reference, like I said, I have a little over 700 items in my closet. The last time I shared, I did time myself and it took about 21 minutes to share all of those items, which I think is pretty fast. I like to share my closet 2 to 3 times a day, the entire thing self-share. So if I can do that in about 20 minutes each time, that's about an hour of sharing. I wanted to quickly show you on my iPad what I am talking about, and I've pulled up Poshmark on the web browser, so it's just poshmark.com. I've logged into my closet, so my account is pulled up, and I have my available listings, which I usually scroll to the bottom and I self-share my entire closet at once. But for the sake of this video, I'm just going to show you how I share. So once I'm in my closet, I click the share button, which is this double arrow, and I will then click to my followers. And there is no lag once you click it, like there is sometimes with the app. So it can go pretty quickly. As you can see, I'm not going as fast as I normally can just because I'm trying to show you. And then the other thing that I mentioned is when you accidentally click on a listing, instead of it taking you to the very top or beginning of your closet, it's going to take you to the last place you were. So say you're sharing and you accidentally click on the listing instead of, you know, clicking on the share button, up comes the listing. What you do is you will just go back, and then you can see you're back at the same place you were. So instead of you know, having to be at the top of your closet, you're in the same space, and you will just continue to share the same way that you were before. And I really like using the stylus just because it's easy for me to be more accurate with the place that I'm clicking. And then also it's nice because it helps you to just control, you know, your movements without you having to move your wrist and hand around as much. And that is my little sharing buddy. Sorry, he likes to join us sometimes. Macon wants me to pet him instead of share. I really wish I could just teach him how to share. So that is basically it for how to share on an iPad or a tablet through the web browser for a quicker closet share. So hopefully that was helpful for you to hear, maybe just, you know, give you a fresh perspective on, you know, what sharing is, the benefits of it, but also trying a different way to share. And if you don't have an iPad or a tablet, maybe see if there's a friend or family member that you can borrow one from and try it out. Or you could even go to the Apple store. They always have them on display, and just pull up your closet, you know, on the web browser and start practicing there and see if that will help you. That way you can test it out and see if you like it before you actually commit if you don't have a tablet. But yeah, again, hope that helped you. Please give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video and enjoyed learning a little Poshmark tip. And please hit the subscribe button if you're not subscribed to my channel. If you missed my New Year's resolution video, I'm doing a video every single day in January, which is really fun, and I'm doing all kinds of stuff, mainly Poshmark focused, but also some lifestyle videos as well. So I would love to have you join the family, and thanks again for watching. I'll see you soon. Bye.